guys, what's up? Welcome back to Weekly Academics. So now after having done a complete series of maps of India and topography and poetry from Treasure Trove, here I am with my next one, and this one is the first of my history series. So it's obviously going to be a long series because there's a lot of syllabus to cover, and this is the first podcast of the history series. Now, as you might have heard in the trailer, I'm going to start with First War of Independence, the War of 1857. And I've decided to divide this chapter in 5 podcasts, which will be dealing with the important parts of the chapter, and they'll go like political causes, religious causes, economic causes, military causes, and then consequences of the war. So basically, whenever we talk about a war, we divide it in 3 parts, that is the cause, course, and consequences. We call it the 3 C's. So now we'll be beginning with the cause. The course you can have, it might be there in your textbooks, or you can even find out material on the net. That's just for you to know. You'll understand the entire war better if you've read it out. I will share certain photos related to this on the Instagram, so you can look it up there. But in the podcast, yes, I'll be dealing with the causes and the consequences. So let's begin. We'll be doing political causes over here. And the first political cause. Now, the first one is the doctrine of lapse. So, what is doctrine of lapse? The doctrine of lapse actually means that when a ruler of a dependent state dies without a natural heir, the state or the area which the ruler ruled passes back into the hands of the English company. Okay. So this was a doctrine that was introduced by Lord Dalhousie, who was the then Governor General of India from the period of 1846 to 1856. And he introduced this doctrine, which is known as the doctrine of lapse. It was basically a policy of annexation wherein no Indian prince was safe. So if an Indian prince dies without a natural heir, or if it is the adoption is not with the consent of the company, then the adopted heir will inherit nothing but the private property of this ruler. He'll not get the territory. So by this doctrine, Dalhousie annexed Satara and Jhansi and Nagpur. The story of Jhansi, in short, to tell you is, so in 1853, when the ruler of Jhansi died, the Rani was pensioned. The Rani of Jhansi, she was widowed and she was pensioned. And the adopted son, Anand Rao, he was restricted to be the heir, to be the successor to the throne, because he was an adopted son, and the entire territory of Jhansi passed into the hands of the English company. And this, similarly, he had also annexed Satara and Nagpur. Okay, so that's the doctrine of lapse, which caused a great resentment and a fear among the prince and their and the people whom they ruled. So that was one cause of enrage. Second is the discourtesy to the Mughal emperor. Now this Mughal emperor is Bahadur Shah Zafar, which we know to be the last Mughal ruler. And in those days, Bahadur Shah Zafar was he just had a name, he just had a title. He did not have really a lot of power, nor did he have a huge territory like the Mughal emperors had when they were in the mid of their course. But he was respected throughout the country. Bahadur Shah Zafar was very respected throughout the country, very much. But what Dalhousie did, he devalued the respect. He already had no power, and Dalhousie devalued whatever he had. So Dalhousie, he announced that the successors of Bahadur Shah Zafar, after Bahadur Shah Zafar dies, the successors will have to leave the fort, the Red Fort, which was their imperial palace. And that was like a great cause of enrage, because the people thought that they were not respected, they were devalued. And later on, in 1856, when Lord Canning came in, he announced that Bahadur Shah Zafar's successors would not be allowed the imperial title, that is the title of the king. They won't be allowed that. So they were taken, the imperial palace was taken away, the imperial title was taken away. And this hurt people's sentiments a lot, because throughout the country he was a very respected man, because he came from a long dynasty. And this enraged the Mughals also. Now coming down to the third one is the treatment meted out to Nana Sahib. Now Nana Sahib was the adopted son of the ex-Peshwa Bajirao II, and he was denied the pension. Now he was also an adopted son, so obviously he could not the state went into the hands of the English company, but he was supposed to be pensioned and the company denied him the pension. Dalhousie refused the pension to Nana Sahib, but the better part is Nana Sahib had inherited a lot of private property, a lot of wealth from his dad. And they were allowed to inherit private property, but then he was refused the pension, which hurt the Hindu people across the country. And what Nana Sahib did is a very crucial role that he played in this first war of independence, the war of 1857. He used all his wealth to send emissaries throughout the country and to convince people what he wanted to convince them, to get the people on his side. And he practically instigated the revolt throughout the country by sending emissaries, because he had a lot of wealth, so he used it. Because he was denied the pension, everybody's sentiments were hurt, and he could get people on his side, creating a factor. Okay. The fourth reason is a very important reason, that is the annexation of Awadh. Now, Awadh in those days was a very prominent province. Throughout the history of independence of India, Awadh has been a very prominent actor. So in that time, on the 7th of February 1856, okay, important date, the Nawab Wajid Ali Shah, he was deposed on the grounds of maladministration. Now that was a very baseless ground, but he was deposed on the grounds of maladministration. And on 13th of February 1856, the Court of Directors, they officially announced that now Awadh was completely, they officially announced the complete annexation of Awadh, which meant that Awadh was now completely in the hands of the English company. Now, this entire situation was a clear case of the high-handedness or the feeling of being superior that the English company men had. They felt that they were superior and the Indian race was inferior, and this was a complete event that this is a complete evidence of this deep-rooted superiority thing that the Englishmen had. So this step taken by the Britishers, by the company, it hurted the sentiments of a lot of people throughout the country, because the people from Awadh were a part of the British Indian Army also. So even they were enraged, and during this they even took away the estates of the talukdars and the zamindars. So even their sentiments were hurt. So that was how annexation of Awadh plays a very crucial role, because many people of Awadh were in the British Army, British Indian Army. Okay. Now, the fifth and one of the most important political causes is the unpopular administration, or you could call it the administrative failures on the hands of the British administration. It was highly unpopular for three reasons. Number one is that the people felt out of place because of the English laws, English language, English customs and traditions. The Englishmen, they never really tried to understand the Indian customs, Indian religions, the diversity or the traditions of India. And they never really tried to mix up or adapt to those, because as I said, the deep-rooted feeling of superiority. So people felt out of place because of the English laws, English language, the English customs and traditions being practiced. They felt a difference. The second reason is that all the Indian officers, all the Indian public servants, civil servants were excluded from the higher posts, higher offices. Again, deep-rooted feeling of superiority. The English did not want Indians to be on a high post. And the third reason is that they looked towards the Indians with a great amount of contempt. Again, deep-rooted superiority feeling. They considered Indians to be an impure race. They considered them to be inferior. That was the third reason. So because of these three reasons, the British administration was unpopular. People did not really like it. So these are the political causes. Quick recap: the doctrine of lapse, discourtesy to the Mughal emperor, the treatment meted out to Nana Sahib, annexation of Awadh, and the unpopular administration. So yes, this is the political causes of the first war of independence. And if you want to listen to something soothing, something light, something very relaxing, as I say, that always keeps me going on, you can listen to Your Life in My Voice by Faiza Inamdar. And Till then, you're listening to Faiza Inamdar at Weekly Academics. Please like the video, share it with your friends to help them out. Comment. You can freely comment all your doubts in the comment section or DM me at weekly.academics. That's my Insta handle. You can DM me on that if you have any doubts. I'll also be uploading a short summary on Instagram, a photo with a short summary on Instagram. So you can take a look at that also. Until then, you're listening to Faiza Inamdar at Weekly Academics. Have a good day, be safe, be inside your homes. Bye bye. Take care.